So, in relation to strange experiences, do my experiences have anything to do in relation with other people's experiences? Now, the last experience I shared, the link is there. It had to do with being pulled out of my body by an invisible entity, grabbed by the wrists and pulled up out of my body, and then my hands being pushed across my chest region like this. So I went to visit my dad, who I hadn't seen for years and years. Had some closure to sort out, some things to sort out, but closure too. And I told him the story, and he said that as I was telling him the story about being grabbed by the hands, by the wrists, he says that had happened to him too some years back, and that for him it was painful. He woke up and he had red marks around his wrists. But the interesting thing about that was that it seemed to happen to two family members, so there may be a link there somehow through genetics. Perhaps the incident, I thought about it since that time, but I thought about how come it hurt him and left red marks. It didn't hurt me in the least. I also thought perhaps the same event happened at the same time for both individuals. Some of the experiences I've read on the internet are similar to what I've experienced myself. Mostly they involve what people consider to be aliens or extraterrestrials, principally from the grey variety. And some of their stories are similar, some are not. So there seems to be a great variance even within what occurs for everybody on an individual basis. There are similarities, there's no doubt about that. The science behind it, may be something to explore next, I think, because it needs to be looked at. There are various answers that skeptics claim science has divulged or given evidence of, and while it is certainly evidence of something, it's not necessarily evidence of what a skeptic might proclaim it to be. For the sake of the skeptic's own belief system to stay in place, skeptics, I find them, the ones I've dealt with anyway, on mainly on James Randi forum, they're very set in their ways themselves. They're very what's the word to use for religious people who are set in their ways is dogmatic. They're very dogmatic in their ways. They're not open to anything that suggests at all that there may be more to the question and the answer to those questions than science is at this time able or willing to investigate. Often, like all things, there's funding, there's an economics behind it. The Western world, or the capitalist world, or whatever you like to call it, the world that operates with finances is limited in that regard, and science is not useful for investing money into things that aren't focused on specifically on the physical. So there's not the need or the urge or the requirement for scientists to, at least secular scientists, to investigate further than what they're paid to investigate. And that's the matter of the fact. That is a scientific fact. So given that that's the case, what is presented to the world are generally more of a silly science, I call it myself. It's not fully investigative, it's full of bias, it's not reliable as a scientific tool, really. And one of the things I want to talk about and share is the principle of Ouija and what makes the pointer move. And I'll be doing so in my next video.